Welcome, parents. This is Mr. Polanki. I'm going to be teaching zoology this fall and throughout the year for the 1B skinny students. Area of emphasis this year is going to be attendance. So you're noticing that this message is popping up in all of your curriculum videos. A summary of the attendance policy is we just really look forward to seeing your students as often as possible, and we urgently would like you to emphasize their attendance. And when they do miss a single day, it is like missing 2 days. My disposition and area of emphasis in the classroom is a hands-on approach. I love watching the students explore the world around them, ask questions, think about ways to improve an experiment and how to do an experiment independently on their own. But that certainly isn't to say that there won't be direct instruction. I think in zoology in particular, I have an area of expertise about animals, animal physiology, environmental physiology, comparative anatomy and physiology from my experiences in academia, but more importantly as a hunter, a fisherman, and just an ecologist in general and a lover of things living and non-living. Looking forward to sharing my love of nature and animals with your students as well. You noticed that you gave permission and consent to your students to adventure off the premises. Just want you to be aware that we don't have to go too far in order to get off the actual school grounds, and there's 1,800 acres of natural area full of type 1 wetlands, which is a rare and endangered habitat. So we're going to try to maximize our time outdoors. In fact, already we have on our first nature walk ran into a garter snake, a whole hatchling group of small baby snapping turtles, like literally hours old, and we got to walk a little bit down the plant botany evolutionary pathway where we got to learn about mosses and liverworts and ferns and seed plants versus non-seed plants and angiosperms and gymnosperms. So already been outside and already exercising that time outside. Real quick, my family, I have Hunter and Hanson. They are my two boys that are playing lacrosse at Bethlehem or in Bethlehem at Lehigh University. My daughter is a volleyball athlete and OTech Health Sciences area of emphasis at Clarkson High School. And my lovely wife and I, Stephanie, we've been married for 25 years, and we have enjoyed travel sports, and we've traveled the country with the kids doing a lot of these adventures at these national parks with the kids. So I'm sure your students will hear some stories about them as well. So zoology is a two-term course. It includes understanding what the ecological adaptations are, the laboratory techniques to dissect and to compare the tissues and the evolutionary relationships that these organisms have, vestigial structures, and again, their adaptations to the environment that they're in. Is a big area of emphasis. So in term one, in fact, we're already almost done with unit one. It's just a review of classification, review of cell biology, mitochondria, lysosomes, multicellular, what it means to be multicellular, what it means to be prokaryotic, eukaryotic. We're moving on to unit two this week, peripherins, sponges, the first simple animals. Then Cnidaria, we'll do a hydra dissection. Then free-living parasitic flatworms, we have Plasmodium and some planaria that we're going to dissect. Annelids, we'll do an earthworm. Mollusks, a squid, arthropods, crayfish, and echinoderms, sand dollar. And that kind of takes us to the end of the first term. And of course, we're going to sprinkle in quite a bit of nature walks along the way, because when we get into term two, it's going to start getting chilly out there. We're going to be talking about fish in the shark lab, amphibians with salamanders, birds, which is of course why we're going to do some nature walks while the weather's nice, reptiles, animal behavior. We end with a big mouse maze days project, and then we'll jam in some mammals and then have an exam. So there is a midterm and a final examination. You will find all of the resources on the OneNote. The students have access to this. They're very familiar with using it. And you'll notice that the order that that I'm delivering the content is all there on the left-hand side. All of the notes filled in are there. So if they miss a day, they could go to their OneNote. They can fill these in. The one struggle I have with this is that sometimes the students will just fill it in and then really not seek to understand. And usually when we're doing the notes, there's a lot of annotation that goes in these various graphics, and it's important to do your best to touch base with me or the students around you to make sure you circle, underline, highlight certain areas of emphasis. And that pretty much summarizes it up. I think you have a pretty good idea of who I am as a teacher, very hands-on. My wife and I in the Tetons, my wife and I at the top of Mount Wheeler in Nevada, and that was my son's first duck, I think when he was maybe 12 or 13 or something like that. Our family has been into outdoors, hunting and fishing and mountaineering and rock climbing for a long time. Really appreciate you checking in. If you have any questions, I know that was a lot, but I think that gave you a good flavor for the experience that your child will have in zoology, and I hope they have a great time and look forward to seeing you at parent-teacher conferences. Take care.